get you up on Zoom. So
All right,
I'm
sounds
excited
good.
about that also. So we will be going live in exactly 10 seconds. Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. I want to say that today, as always, we have with us our monthly contributor, Rebecca Boova, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist. So you are in for a treat if this is your first time tuning in to 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock. The water collects in a natural artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is Earth's finest water. And so, as always, the first Thursday of the month, we have with us Rebecca Boova, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, BeccaTheDietitian.com. Becca, welcome, and thank you, as always, for being with us in 3D
Thank you.
every month.
I'm happy to be back.
And we're excited to have you with us as always, because today's going to be an exciting day, and I want to just share with our listeners and viewers, first of all, that Becca is actually going to begin today by going over the 2020 to 2025 guidelines for health and wellness. So I'm going to just ask that we are patient and allow Becca to go through that. So Becca, if you would like to start off, that would be extremely helpful, and we will then get into the broadcast.
Of course. So I'm going to talk about the dietary guidelines for Americans today, and these are put out every 5 years jointly by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Office of Health and Human Services. So basically, the general information is pretty much the same every 5 years, but they're able to tweak it with the most current literature and study findings. And it becomes more and more important, especially now, because I'm going to throw a few facts at you here. So currently 6 in 10 Americans are living with a chronic disease. This could be something like diabetes or heart disease. 4 in 10 Americans have 2 or more chronic diseases. So that means somebody could have diabetes and heart disease, for example, or kidney disease or something like that. And then 7 in 10 Americans are now considered to be overweight or obese. So with this, these numbers are continuing to rise and affecting more and more people. So it's more important for us to pay attention to these recommendations so that we can try and stop these numbers from rising and bring them back down again. And I just want to throw it out there that the guidelines do take into consideration all different populations, all life stages. So it goes from birth to adulthood, and it breaks it up in different life stages for everyone. And then it's also used as a guideline for government programs like WIC and SNAP and stuff, the National School Lunch Program, things like that. So these guidelines are super, super important, not only for those types of programs, but also for the general population to try and pay attention to so they can, live healthier lifestyles. So I'll just go ahead, and there's only 4 guidelines this year, so they kept it pretty simple, and then within each guideline there's more detailed information that I will share a little bit of. But I do just want to say I created a blog post that is shared on the Daily Divine Direction Facebook group, so you can go there for more information and more detail. And then, of course, whenever it comes to implementing these changes into your life, if you needed a little extra help, meeting with a dietitian one-on-one could be a great way to do that, because they can really disseminate the information and make it, realistic and applicable to your life. So the first recommendation is to follow a healthy diet pattern at every life stage. So they broke it down from birth to 6 months, 6 months to 12 months, and then 12 months to adulthood. So from birth to 6 months, the best thing is breast. So breast is best. We ideally want to be breastfeeding our children from birth to 6 months. If that's not available, then using an iron fortified formula is a good thing to do. From 6 to 12 months, we want to start to introduce nutrient-dense foods in addition to breast milk or formula, and this also includes allergenic foods, so things like peanut butter, stuff that people typically develop allergies to, just to try and introduce it early and hopefully, have allergies not be a problem. So we do want to try and encourage kids to eat foods from all different food groups and a variety of foods from each food group at an earlier age. That way they continue to stick with that as they get older and older. And then from 12 months to adulthood, again, we want to promote eating foods from every food group. We want to promote achieving a healthy body weight and then reducing the risk of chronic disease by eating a lot of healthful foods. So the second point is to customize and enjoy nutrient-dense food and beverage choices to reflect personal preferences, cultural traditions, and budgetary considerations. So, there's no one-size-fits-all diet pattern. So there's, a lot of different cultures have different foods that they like to eat. So we want to continue to promote, using these different preferences, either your personal preferences or your cultural preferences, or just affordable choices. There's a way to incorporate these and still follow a healthy diet. The third point is to focus on meeting food group needs with nutrient-dense foods and beverages and stay within calorie limits. So nutrient-dense foods means not necessarily high in calorie, but high in nutrients. So vitamins, minerals, fiber, things like that. If there's a lot of those in a food, it means it's nutrient-dense. Now you want to be careful because nutrient-dense and calories tend to kind of go together, but that's not necessarily true. So we want to make sure we're eating lots of vegetables, including your dark greens, your red and orange vegetables, beans, peas, and lentils, starchy vegetables, and then other vegetables. Same thing with fruits. We want to go for different colors, primarily whole fruits, whether that be fresh or frozen. At least half of our grain should be whole grain, and then dairy ideally should be fat-free or low-fat, including yogurts and cheeses or even soy products if you're not a dairy eater or if you're lactose intolerant. Protein foods, we want to choose lean meats, lean poultry, eggs, seafood. Beans, peas, and lentils is now considered a vegetable and a protein, so that's also going to be in the protein group. And then nuts, seeds, and soy products. And then finally, the last food group is your oils, so vegetable oils or foods that contain oils, and then like seafood, salmon or tuna, and then nuts, avocados, things like that. So the fourth dietary guideline is to limit foods and beverages high in added sugars, saturated fat, sodium, and also to limit alcoholic beverages. So added sugar and saturated fat, we don't want to exceed 10% of our daily calorie intake over the age of 2. Prior to the age of 2, added sugar should totally be avoided. Saturated fat is not really going to be a consideration under the age of 2 either. And as for sodium, for adults, we don't want to exceed 2,300 milligrams per day, and that number is even smaller for kids under 14. So those are the guidelines. Again, it's a lot of information, and it's okay if it seems a bit complicated to do on your own. That's why dietitians are available to help you make these changes so that you can live a healthier lifestyle.
And not just any dietitian, Becca the dietitian. I want to say, Becca, thank you for walking us all through each step, each phase of our lives from birth until adulthood. And, you made some very strong points about things, for example, breast is best, making certain that from birth, we're making certain that children are getting what they need. And of course, that nutrient is going to surpass anything else that you can find in a bottle or a jar. So we want to make certain that children who are being born are going to be healthy and that they're going to maintain long-term health and wellness. And then as you walked us through each segment, you talked about, cultural foods and different food groups. So, I'm going to say that it's real important that we find out this information, and that's why Becca is with us the first Thursday of every month. However, you can go on her website at beccathedietitian.com and you can find information that will be helpful, and you can register with her to become a client. She's accepting new clients now and also takes insurance. I know she takes Independence Blue Cross, and she also takes Aetna. So you want to make sure that your insurance carrier will allow you to make an appointment with Becca the dietitian. We're going to be doing some creative things throughout the year and tracking the progress of others. So we'll be making that announcement coming up. Becca and I had that discussion this week. So we're excited about all that Becca's doing to make certain that we are whole in body, mind, and spirit. So I just wanted to say, Becca, once again, thank you. But I want to transition into a question from one of our listeners and viewers who asked what should her goals be for the new year if she wants to improve her health and wellness and she's having difficulty with her energy levels. And I'm going to let you weigh in on that, and then I'm going to remind everyone that they need to, this is now February, make certain that you're scheduling your annual appointment to get all of your tests, and make certain that you're aware of your numbers. Make certain that we schedule our annual appointments, get all of our annual appointments scheduled early in the year so that we can get in with our physicians and make an appointment with Becca, the dietitian. Becca, would you share with our listener and viewer what she can do to improve her, what she can eat and what she can do to improve her energy level?
Of course, yeah. So just to jump off of what you said, it is early in the year. Now is definitely the time to get in with your primary care provider so that you can just check up, make sure everything's good, and then also get referrals to any other providers that you might need to meet with, such as a dietitian. So as far as foods to eat for energy, first of all, we do want to make sure we're getting enough calories. So if you are not getting enough calories, you're going to not feel like you have so much energy. You're probably going to be tired. So we definitely want to make sure we're eating enough protein-rich foods, staying hydrated. And then as far as specific nutrients that we can eat to increase our energy levels, B vitamins are going to be really important for that. So that would be your green leafy vegetables, sometimes nutritional yeast, any whole grain foods, nuts and seeds, legumes, stuff like that, and then like milk products as well, or soy products. So those are going to really help increase your energy levels.
So this is going to segue into another question actually two other questions that listeners and viewers had, and I promise I am going to do a little business for our sponsors in a moment, but this is so good. I don't want anyone to miss this, and I've been encouraging everyone all week, last week, and all month to make certain that you encourage your family, friends, coworkers, and colleagues to tune in for this because you did not want to miss this. But Becca, one of our listeners and viewers sent in a communication that she wanted to know how can she track her calories effectively and efficiently, and how many calories should she eat daily? And I know you indicated previously that there's no one size fits all, but can you give some guidance to our listener and viewer who had this question?
Sure, of course. So if you look at the back of a nutrition facts label, it's going to say a standard 2,000 calorie diet. So basically a 2,000 calorie diet is the average calorie level for and that takes into consideration a lot of different ages, activity levels, disease states. So we really do want to try and find a more individualized number than that because there's a good chance it's not going to be right for you. So there are certain techniques that we can use to determine your exact calorie needs, but those techniques tend to be very expensive. So my recommendation would be to download something like a food tracker app. So you can basically put in your age, your weight, your height, your activity level, and it will do a calculation to give you an estimation of how many calories you need. I do want to stress that it's an estimation, so it will not be exact. If you are eating that calorie level and find you are losing weight or find you are gaining weight, then you might need to adjust. Calories are going to be the biggest thing. So definitely, check out different apps. So MyFitnessPal is a good one. If you look on eatright.org, that is the website for the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. they also have a lot of recommendations on where to go for apps that you can use.
Oh, we need to make certain we get that posted, eatright.org, and that we also, you said there's a food tracker app that we can download to track our calories. You know, and it's interesting because the correlation between this, if you're not getting enough calories, obviously you're going to lack some energy. And if you get too many calories, you're probably also going to lack some energy. Am I correct, Becca?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, if you're eating too many calories, you're going to gain weight. And then as you gain weight, you're probably going to start to feel more sluggish and have less energy.
Absolutely.
And, you know, even though you're getting more calories than you need, you might not necessarily be getting all the right nutrients. So you can still be overweight or even obese and be malnourished because you have an excess of calories, but you're still lacking those important nutrients that our bodies need to function every day.
Okay, quick takeaway from that. You can overeat and still be malnourished. So we need to make certain that we're getting a perfect balance of this. And that's the reason that the first Thursday of every month, our monthly contributor, Rebecca Boova, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, is with us to make certain that we maintain and enhance good health and wellness. I want to take a moment to acknowledge one of our sponsors, T-Mobile, America's largest nationwide 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text every day on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you into our queue so that you can become a customer, a T-Mobile customer, and experience America's largest nationwide 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest nationwide 5G provider at no extra charge. So, Becca, I want to also, because these were grouped together and I didn't realize that your answers just took us right through this phase, but one of our listeners and viewers, you know, we've often talked about vitamin D, and I'm a big proponent of vitamin D. We've been taking vitamin D supplements for the last 14 years that I know of in our household, and perhaps even longer, but at least the last 14 years. But one of our viewers and listeners and viewers has been told that increasing her vitamin D would enhance her health and wellness. Can you explain to our listeners and viewers why that is?
So I just want to clarify and make sure I'm hearing it right. You're saying vitamin D as in dog, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Yeah, so vitamin D is really important for a whole lot of different things. It's important for your bones, making sure that they maintain a good density and that you don't become prone to fractures as you get older. It's also really important for immune function too. So there have been a lot of studies that show that if your vitamin D levels are low, you're more prone to sickness or illnesses or infections. So we definitely want to make sure we're getting a lot of vitamin D. And then it's good to know that vitamin D actually is produced naturally in your body whenever you spend time in the sun.
Yes.
So if you spend about 15 minutes a day outside in the sun with your face and your forearms exposed, you should actually be getting enough vitamin D. Now, if you live somewhere that's cold, like, you know, Delaware, Philadelphia, especially this time of year,
yes,
it's definitely going to be tricky to get outside for 15 minutes and have, you know, any part of your body exposed. So it might be a good idea to find a vitamin D supplement for the winter or just increase your intake of vitamin D-rich foods. So milk tends to be fortified with vitamin D as well as soy milk and soy products. And then things like mushrooms and different types of fish also can include vitamin D.
So I really wanted to touch on that because I'm a staunch supporter of using vitamin D as a supplement, and Becca just explained to us, you know, we're all aware of the sun benefits of vitamin D, but there are foods that are enriched with vitamin D, as Becca just walked us through, and taking a vitamin D supplement, particularly as she mentioned, living in the region we live in, is going to be important. So we encourage everyone to take vitamin D. It's going to be a big portion of enhancing your health and wellness. So Becca, one of our listeners and viewers sent in a communication and asked a question about protein shakes. Are they really effective for meal replacements? And if not, what would you recommend? Now, the joke in my household is that a protein shake for me is a breakfast beverage to go along with turkey bacon and an egg omelet. But is it really good for a meal replacement? And if not, what would you recommend?
So it can definitely be an effective way to help lose weight, or if you're just not a breakfast eater and you feel like it would be good to start your day with a protein shake, that's a good thing to do. Some people use them after a workout just to get some protein in to maximize their muscle building and muscle gains. So I think that if you like protein shakes and you want to incorporate them into your diet, there is definitely a way to do that.
Okay.
But you just have to make sure that you're still getting fiber from other sources, because those typically don't contain fiber. So fiber is one of those things that's so important for our gut health and our gut microbiome. So just keep in mind, you don't want to replace every meal with a protein shake, but you can definitely use it as, maybe one meal a day to replace.
Okay, so I want everyone to hear this, all of our listeners and viewers, not just the listener and viewer who sent in this communication. So the replacement, as Becca said, you're not going to get all of your fibers, so you can't just drink protein shakes all day long and expect to get everything that you need. It may help you with maybe some weight loss initially, but it's not going to be beneficial for long-term health and wellness. Am I correct with that, Becca?
Yeah, I guess there would be ways to do it on a long-term basis, but we just want to make sure we're getting enough of the other things that our bodies need throughout the rest of the day.
Yes, because my concern is that people are so focused on losing weight, I'm going to use that term, are focused on losing weight that they feel like I can just drink protein shakes throughout the day and it's effective enough to maintain good health and wellness. And I don't, based on what Becca just shared with us, and I don't subscribe to that. I think you are going to need your fibers, just all of the things that she just shared with us to make certain that we maximize our health and wellness. So let's be real careful about protein shakes, although I encourage using them. And as Becca said, if you're working out, it's a good protein replacement, or it will provide you with protein. So if you're working out, go for it, but don't make it your everyday meal throughout the day, all day, every day, so that you think that's going to benefit you long term. We've got to make certain that we're being effective and efficient, and we just have to make certain that we are maximizing our health and wellness. And Becca, there's something you said in that about gut health, and one of our listeners and viewers sent in a communication and asked, how do you eliminate belly fat?
This is a question I hear a lot, and it's something that, a lot of people worry about, including myself. Unfortunately, there's no way to target one specific area of fat on your body. Whenever you lose weight, you're gonna lose fat from all over your body. There's no way to just lose fat from your stomach and keep it elsewhere if that's what you're going for. A lot of things will advertise, lose belly fat fast. A good way to try and, tackle that area is really to work on your gut health and minimize bloating. So a lot of times people will be experiencing bloating and think that's belly fat. But really a good way to just get rid of the bloating is to focus on your gut health, eat pre and probiotics, eliminate foods that might be irritating your stomach, and just, work out, focus on losing weight in a healthy way. Don't fall for advertisements that claim that you can lose belly fat fast or, lose 10 pounds in a week, something like that. Those are not realistic.
Excellent. And that's very interesting that you said focus on the gut health and not focus on the bloating, believing that it is just belly fat, because there's a lot of things that cause bloating. And one of the things that we can do also is make sure that you're drinking at least 64 fluid ounces of water every single day, maybe up to 50% of your body weight. And that will certainly it's going to curb some of your hunger, which will probably prevent us from indulging in some snacks that we don't need. And, we're all, well, maybe not Becca, but most of us are guilty of that. But I say all of that because I happen to know she's not only a health and wellness specialist, but she's also a workout specialist also. So I'll share some of that with you in the year to come. But because she's also going to be doing some, in addition to health and wellness and diet and nutrition, she's going to be eventually doing some exercise videos, I'm told. And so I'm excited about that because I happen to know that she is in excellent health. And this is someone who is not only, we use the term practice what you preach. This is not only someone who is committed to a career in diet and nutrition, but she is committed to health and wellness. So as always, we are just delighted to have her with us, and thank you for sharing that about, losing weight is going to be a process, not just in your belly, but you can focus on gut health. And so we are going to focus on making certain that we maximize our health and wellness in all areas. I just want to take a moment to acknowledge one of our sponsors. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, check their store hours, stop in at the retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need: shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. If you're not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And The White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. If you're in New York, check for their store hours, stop in at their retail store. They have everything that you could possibly need: home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. If you're not in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And so, Becca, I'm going to ask another one of our listeners and viewers asked the question: what is the best foods you would recommend to remain healthy?
I get this one a lot too. So there's no one food, and that is one of the points from the new dietary guidelines. There's a way to be healthy incorporating any food. So, it could be a little bit of unhealthy stuff. It could be mostly healthy stuff. There's no one food. We want to just make sure that we're eating to not only enjoy ourselves, but to be healthy as well. As long as you follow the main principles of a healthy diet and, implement some little treats here and there, you're going to be just fine.
So I'm going to put you on the spot, because one of our listeners and viewers said in a communication that I'm constantly, and I didn't realize we had gotten to this one yet, but that I'm constantly raving about your health and wellness, and they want to know what do you do in your daily life to maintain your health and wellness. And I have to say, I've said this repeatedly. I've even said this to you. You are the epitome of great health. And so if you could share I know it's kind of personal and putting you on the spot, but what do you do in your daily life to maintain your health and wellness and your physical fitness?
So I'll be honest, I love sweets.
I resemble that remark. Okay, go ahead.
Sweets is just one of the things I'm always craving. I always want to eat. One of my coworkers just put a donut on my desk, so I'm going to eat that as soon as I hang up the phone.
Save me half.
What I try to do is I try and keep my added sugar intake to less than 10% of my daily calories. So we have about a 250 to 300 calorie limit a day for added sugars. So I take advantage of that full 10% of my calories to go towards added sugars because it's something I love. But I make sure that the rest of the day I'm eating a lot of really healthy, high fiber, high nutrient foods, and I'm exercising at least 4 or 5 days a week. So there's room for anything in a healthy diet. You just have to work around it and make sure that the rest of your day is looking really good.
Now, let me ask you this question. You said you work out, and I know this about you, you work out 4 days a week, minimum?
At least 4 to 5 days a week.
Okay, and one of the things I've been encouraging our listeners and viewers to do during this pandemic, even if they're not in the gym, so you've all heard that from Becca also, you can work out at home. There are videos that you can work out with online. There are floor exercises that you can do. There are, if you have dumbbells, there are some lightweight resistance that you can do even at home in the midst of a pandemic. So basically what it comes down to, if you want to look like Becca, if you want to be in great health as she is, You want to make certain that it's diet and exercise so that we can maximize great health as we continue to move throughout the year. Now, again, I want to encourage everyone, go to our website, BeccaTheDietitian.com, and view what she has placed on her website. It will provide you with information so that you can become a client of Becca and of Rebecca Boova, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist. And also you will see the insurances that she accepts, and then check with your insurance provider because she does accept insurance. We want you to make certain, every one of us,